good? Good. Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming. My name is Mitch Clark. I'm the Public Information Officer for Fairfax County Fire Rescue. Eric Craven, our Assistant Chief of Operations, will be giving you guys a statement. I ask that you guys hold your questions till the end. And then we will, just so you guys know, we do expect this to run throughout the evening and potentially into the next couple of days. So just in case any questions come up on the next presser, we will be putting that out on X and our social media. So at this point, I'll hand it over to our Assistant Chief of Operations to give you this statement on where we're at right now. Chief?
Good evening, everybody. Eric Craven, Assistant Chief Operations, Fairfax County Fire and Rescue. I'll give you a brief synopsis of what occurred last night. Our units were called to what was a report of a house explosion, the 4000 block of Quail Pond Court in Centreville, Virginia. Units arrived on scene to find one house fully involved in flames, with extension of heat damage to a neighboring house. That house is occupied with one resident. That one resident did escape with minor non-life-threatening injuries, was transported to a local hospital and has since been released. There was one other neighbor in the area that sustained minor injuries, also non-life-threatening, and has also been released. Units immediately started suppression efforts, sounded a second alarm, bringing more than 75 firefighters to the scene, put a quick knock on the fire, extinguished the main fire building, as well extinguished any further damage to the neighboring structure. Shortly after the fire was extinguished, crews moved in and transitioned to what we call a rapid evacuation, transitioning to a hazmat incident. Throughout the incident, there was reports from our crew members as well as residents of the area of the odor of natural gas. We had 21 calls at the same time for the same incident, either a smell of gas in the area or a house explosion, all at the same time coming into our 911 center. Crews continue to mop up the fire at the fire building while canvassing the area, taking readings with atmospheric monitors to ensure that natural gas in the area was not reaching a lower explosive limit. Residents were evacuated from initially 21 homes and now exceeding 51 homes in the nearby community. Those residents found shelter elsewhere, and we've been able to assist some of them throughout the hours since then and retrieving anything that's important or on an emergency basis, medication and so on and so forth. We continue to monitor all the structures involved and in the area. We currently have minor readings in the structures near the original fire unit, and crews go in there. They have access, working with the homeowners, and are doing natural ventilation to ensure that the levels of gas in or near those structures remain below the lower explosive limit. We're working in partnership with Washington Gas. Every hour, Washington Gas takes readings on the exterior of the homes, manhole covers, as well as many test holes they've dug in and around the exterior of the property. Our crews enter the property and take readings throughout the structures to ensure those levels stay low. We're maintaining a reading of 300 or 400 at the highest, 300 or 400 parts per million of natural gas in those residences closest to the original unit. To put it in perspective, the lower explosive limit, where the natural gas concentration is enough to ignite, is 50,000 parts per million. Again, right now we're trending 300 or 400 parts per million in the houses with the highest concentration. We're working hand in hand with Department of Emergency Management from Fairfax County, as well as both Williams Pipeline and Washington Gas, not only in the mitigation of this incident, but also the investigation. NTSB has assumed full investigative authority of this incident, and we're working to support all of their efforts. Department of Emergency Management has identified the streets affected by the evacuation. That includes Belle Plains Drive, Buggy Whip Drive, and Quail Pond Court. Many of these homes were evacuated last night, and they continue to be inaccessible to the residents at this point in time. That's not just for safety, but also precaution just in case the gas migrates to a larger area. In cooperation with Fairfax County Police Department, we've cordoned off the area in a wide perimeter to limit access both vehicular and pedestrian. And that not only maintains the safety of the community, but that also ensures that we have access for not only fire department vehicles to come in and continue this recon and investigative mode, but also incident response should there be any significant emergency incidents. Residents who need to retrieve essential items from their homes and are currently evacuated from the 51 I outlined earlier. And this will all be transmitted through an emergency blog put on by Department of Emergency Management in Fairfax County, as well as pushed out via text message. That citizens and community members can sign up for those text messages by texting FF, that's Frank X-ray, incident to 888-777. Again, that's FFX, incident at 888-777. And they'll get this following information as well. Residents who need to retrieve essential emergency items can report to 5101 Sequoia Farms Drive in Centreville, Virginia, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. this evening. At that parking lot location, Fairfax County Fire Rescue Department personnel, as well as other county agencies, will assist by escorting the residents back to their occupancies, maintaining safety by taking readings and ensuring that they're safe while they retrieve whatever is emergent to them. Anybody who wishes to take advantage of this opportunity needs to have a valid ID in order to get into their residence. If for some reason that ID resides in the residence, the crews that are assisting them can retrieve the ID and verify occupancy. The evacuated homes will not be accessible without a Fire and Rescue Department escort. And because the homes remain accessible by the Fire and Rescue Department, Fairfax County Police Department is having an increased presence in the area to ensure that people's belongings and residents are maintained safe. Supervisor Kathy Smith from the Solid District has been out here for hours surveying the area, ensuring that all of her constituents are taken care of. And we ask that all residents contact their homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance to ask about displacement or loss of use coverage outlined, and to help cover expenses such as hotel stays, meals, and other related costs. We have representatives from both Williams Pipeline and Washington Gas on scene, as well as NTSB, Virginia State Corporation Commission, and utility oversight, as well as the Fairfax County Police Department. That's what I have for you now. What do you have for me? So I would say the gas leak started in the area of the dispatch address, which is the 14,000 block of Quail Pond Court. People in the area smelled gas both inside and outside their residences.
And did the gas leak cause the home explosion?
That is under investigation.
Gas leak from Washington Gas?
Sorry, one second.
Is it clear yet which transmission line it came from?
I can say that there are 4 gas lines in the vicinity, and we're narrowing them down one by one.
So 4, not 3.
There's 3 going in one direction and 1 crossing them. So there's 3 in the easement and 1 that runs across, owned by different entities.
And have any of them considered narrowing them down one by one? Narrowed any of them yet, or just the one?
So the lines are well above 10 feet below grade. So they have to dig and shore up the soil, get to the line, expose it, and then there's a procedure that is way more complex than any of us care to understand as far as testing the lines for leaks. Sir.
Prior to this incident, can you say just how many calls of the smell of odor and was Washington Gas already being seen whenever the house is lit?
I can say, without extremely detailed information, that we had 21 calls for this incident, whether it was a house explosion, smell of gas, house fire, 21 calls at the same time coming into Fairfax County's 911 center.
How early did those initial calls reporting the smell of gas come in?
Just prior to 10 p.m. last night.
You mentioned that there were 4 gas lines near the home and were owned by several different people.
It's 2 entities that have ownership of the lines. That's Washington Gas and Williams Pipeline.
Talk about the role that NTSB is playing and why that agency is
Yeah, pipeline safety is under the purview of NTSB, and they have the full investigative authority. So then we, as well as every other agency and entity here, will support them in that taking that investigation. Our fire marshal's office is here to support them while regulating and maintaining the scene.
You have confidence that Washington Gas and Williams Pipeline has control over the leak right now, so that those parts per million don't actually elevate right now and things get worse.
Well, I think anytime you have an active leak, the leak continues until you find a way to stop it. So it's really narrowing down that leak. So we're taking readings in the vicinity, soil testing, we're doing at-grade readings, we're doing inside the occupants readings. We're making sure that those don't trend in an upward direction, but right now it's an active leak. So am I confident that we're working diligently with them to find the leak? Absolutely, while maintaining safety of the area.
But are you confident that they are working to up your standards right now in order to identify?
I think that's a tough question to answer. I think they have their own standards, and we have the NTSB here as well, which provides a little bit of oversight along with the Commonwealth.
The views are getting lower. Just to be clear, is it safety being around that?
Absolutely, 100%. There's a cordoned off area with yellow fire line tape and red danger tape. As long as the community members stay outside of that perimeter, they are absolutely 100% safe. All of our crews are rotating through day and night, 24/7, taking readings continuously to ensure that we don't get anywhere near that threshold. Again, we are well below the lower explosive limit. Absolutely, excellent question. Right now, we are confident in saying this incident will continue throughout the night into the morning hours, if not longer.
Do you know what the initial part per million reading was when you showed up on scene last night?
I do not. Yes, I've heard some stories. I do know that the gentleman was in the house, was assisted out of his house, and had minor injuries, has since been released from the hospital. I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. I do not know.
Chief, any reports of gas leaks days prior of this incident?
Smell of it.
There was reports of odor in the area.
How soon, how long before this?
How long?
I'd have to go back to our incident log. I don't have that answer for you.
Day of, or at least the day before?
I heard the day before. Yep.
And Chief, again, to clarify, going on with that,
Yep.
at this point, whether or not the leak caused the explosion, what's being determined?
Yep. So very carefully, we can say that there was the odor of gas in the area at the time of the explosion. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. But we can say there was an odor of gas in the area at the time of the explosion. Crews arrived on scene and went to quick work.
And again, was Washington Gas already on scene even before the explosion?
There's a Washington Gas crew in the area at the time of the explosion.
Checking up on the odor.
Odor in the area. I'm really sorry, I just can't hear you. Absolutely. Yeah, the question is advice for the community moving forward, and I would say, we have some avenues in place, thankfully, to Department of Emergency Management here in Fairfax County that gives them access to their homes for anything they have to retrieve. As far as rehousing and finding other places to stay, it's largely at their determination. We're doing everything we can to mitigate that loss of use, but also keep the area safe. So we'll help them get in, get their stuff, and then hopefully, we did have a shelter stand up, a warming center last night that has not been utilized by residents in the community. So I think most people have found other places to stay.
Chief, as far as the crews that are out as we speak, checking on the lines,
Yes.
are those the gas crews, are those contractors, other emergency crews? It's not fire.
Yeah, as far as gas readings in the area, it's a partnership between many entities, both Washington Gas and Williams subcontract out, as well as all the fire department taking readings continuously. Okay, guys. Good. Thank you. Yeah, it's okay. Last one. Yeah, I'll reread that information. Yeah, absolutely. And we also have it on business cards, so we can hand those out. Okay. Yeah, all residents that have been evacuated on Belle Plains Drive, Buggy Whip Drive, and Quail Pond Court are asked to text Frank X X-ray, that's FFX incident, to 888777. And that's a resource stood up by the Fairfax County Department of Emergency Management. That'll take them to an emergency blog, as well as sign them up for text messages on all updates for those displaced in the area. Absolutely. Where they can meet fire and rescue staff as well as Department of Emergency Management, that's 5101 Sequoia Farms Drive. It's a community center nearby. We'll have a presence in the parking lot. They can explain, show their valid ID, and then we'll escort them family by family, resident by resident to get their belongings. It is a community center. However, we only have the parking lot.
Chief, you
So
said
is
the,
it on
the,
the residents to sign up for the text message blog as opposed to bookmarking the also contact?
We can utilize reverse 911. However, that's not 100% depending on who's occupying the house and what number they have on file. This is a nice resource for them to have.
you mentioned the Washington gas worker was on scene at the time that this happened. What exactly were they doing?
They were here investigating a report of odor of gas.
Were they working on anything physically at the time?
No.
Tinkering with anything? Or?
I don't know. All right, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate all your
Thank you
support.
very much.
Have a great
Appreciate
night.
it.